Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Voices for Voices TV show and podcast. I'm your host, founder of Voices for Voices, Justin Allen Hayes. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode. We are now at 267 episodes overall in studio, out of studio. Just incredible feat to to hit as a milestone. Thank you for watching, for listening, for being supporters of Voices for Voices. No matter how small or how big, you can give us a big free thumbs up, subscribe, like, share, follow, all those good things that are free. And we are a 501c3 nonprofit. If you are able to, at any point, we would appreciate um, any and all donations. There's no donation too small. And you can find us on Venmo at Voices for Voices. And you can also go to voicesforvoices.org. Click on the link, support our show and our organization, and that will get you to where you need to be. PTSD. PTSD stands for post traumatic uh, distress post post traumatic stress dysfunction, uh, and we're going to get into some of the specific uh, post traumatic stress disorder. There we go. Third time's the charm. So PTSD. We'll talk about what it is, um, and how it doesn't always have to relate to military service. That tends to be uh, or has tended to be in the past the biggest contributor, being in and around war, loud sounds, fighter jets, uh, ammunition, shooting, missiles, all these things, seeing casualties, seeing people injured and gravely injured, and that can carry a heavy burden to any and all individuals that are involved, not just the military members themselves, but when they come home, the families, the friends, it all gets connected. So we're bringing PTSD up in this show because on this Friday, if I have my calendar correctly here, so I'm just gonna double check. I believe it's Friday. And yeah, so this Friday is what we call here in the United States the 4th of July, Independence Day, and one of the big one of the big things that tends to get associated with Independence Day, the 4th of July, the 4th, uh, are fireworks. And fireworks, by their very nature, uh, while they are colorful, uh, they let off a sound, and some of the sounds are really loud. Some of them are really in succession. That might sound like gunfire. Somebody was in the military or is in the military, and so it can bring back some of those uh, some of those memories that are kind of embedded in our mind. Uh, Before we get there, want to just go into a little bit of a history lesson for me and for you about what is the 4th of July? What is Independence Day? First off, here in the United States, the 4th of July and so I'm referring to Wikipedia. So there'll be times I'll be reading directly from there. I'm not claiming that this is my own information. Lot of it's coming from Wikipedia. When we get to the PTSD and that and kind of the second half of our show, that will be that won't be Wikipedia. That'll be uh, lived experience from me and others. So the 4th is a federal holiday, which basically means that uh, any organization, court, the post office, they observe that day as a holiday, uh, and it was established in July 4th, 1776, which actually is when the United States of America was established. See, so let's get into some background. So Independence Day can be associated with fireworks, as I mentioned, parades, barbecues, cookouts, picnics, fairs, carnivals, baseball games, family reunions, political speeches, ceremonies, and other various public and private events. And and so we get to a little bit closer to that PTSD. And so when we talk about the observance of the 4th of July, so 1776 is when it started. In 1777, 13 gunshots were fired in salute, once that morning and once in the evening, as evening fell on July 4th in Bristol, Rhode Island. And there's a similar celebration in Philadelphia, 13 gun salutes, speeches, prayers, music, parades, troop reviews, and fireworks. Ships were, if they weren't on a mission, they were at port and they're decked in red, white, and blue. In 1781 is when the Massachusetts General Court became the first state legislature to recognize July 4th as a state celebration. And we talk about different customs of July 4th. It's marked by patriotic displays. Again, federal courts, postal service, all non-essential federal institutions uh, is a holiday, is a federal holiday. And so the legal holiday does remain on July 4th, but if that date, right, we have 7 days of the week, and if July 4th falls on a Saturday or Sunday, then the federal government employees and organizations that observe the 4th will instead take the day off on the adjacent Friday or Monday. So if the 4th falls on Saturday, Friday would be that day. If it falls on Sunday, then Monday would be that day. Uh, as families, we often have celebrations, picnics, barbecues, long weekend of just hanging out, and lots of parades in many towns, many cities. The night before the 4th was once a point of celebrations marked by raucous gatherings, often incorporating bonfires as their highlight. Uh, Independence Day, the 4th of July, fireworks are often accompanied by patriotic songs like our national anthem, the Star Spangled Banner, uh, God Bless America, America the Beautiful, My Country 'Tis of Thee. This land is your land, stars and stripes forever, Yankee Doodle, God bless the USA, among many, many others. Uh, Fireworks shows are held in many states as far as celebrations where, a city, town, would have, have a particular time to gather for those firework displays. But also, fireworks are also sold for personal use or other than a public show. And so when we get to that point, right? So we're taking it down a level. And so there are safety concerns that come with that. It's led some states to ban fireworks outside of public shows or to limit the sizes and the types allowed. Uh, and so that's important. Uh, some occasions, mostly close to the fourth, the public may be prohibited from purchasing or discharging fireworks. But again, the public displays, the professional displays, like those at sports events, it may still take place. A salute of one gun for each state in the United States is called a salute to the Union, and it is fired on the 4th of July, Independence Day, at noon by any capable military base. If we talk about size of gatherings and firework displays, public displays, uh, it appears that New York City has the largest fireworks display in the country, and it's sponsored by Macy's. And this is just mind blowing that with that, there are 22 tons uh, that exploded, and this is in 2009. So we're what, 16 years removed from that? That number probably has grown. It generally, we talk about this in New York, this the largest display, is generally held over the East River, uh, and it is Independence Day. Which July 4th, the first week of July, is one of typically the busiest uh, United States travel periods, as many people use what we call, by having a federal holiday on a Friday or Monday, a 3-day holiday weekend for extended vacation trips that uh, getting that extra day can help with the um, it can help with the travel. And it is it it actually the Philippines also celebrates July 4th as its Republic Day to commemorate the day in 1946 when it ceased to be a U.S. territory and the United States officially recognized Philippine independence. And July 4th was intentionally chosen by the United States because it corresponds to its Independence Day. And so this day was observed as in the Philippines as Independence Day until 1962. And then in 1964, the name of July 4th, the July 4th holiday, was changed to Republic Day. Rebuild National Park in Denmark is said to hold the largest July 4th celebrations outside of the United States. So a little bit of history to talk about Independence Day, July 4th. And so we transition uh, into PTSD. And PTSD again doesn't only happen to uh, cannot only happen to service members of the military, past, present, and future. that enter. But it can happen being the trauma, which is post-traumatic stress disorder, can happen for various reasons. Uh, maybe we trip and fall, and we'll get bad cuts on our arms and our legs, and maybe we have to go to the hospital and get treated, and maybe that's a point of trauma. Well, yeah, that's not being at war, hearing gunfire and that. But in it, our mind doesn't as let me put it this way, as strong as our mind is not able to disassociate one point of trauma with another. All trauma goes together, just like stress, bad stress or negative stress, or good stress of, wow, I'm going to start a new job and I'm going to get paid extra and then get a bonus and going on family vacations or going to the zoo, whatever that may be. Stress is stress in our body, and trauma is trauma. There's different types of trauma. And so with the 4th of July coming up, and we talk about fireworks being uh, one of the big things that's associated with the 4th of July. Uh, Public shows that usually are much larger. The show lasts much longer, and so those sounds can replicate gunfire and and the like, which can take our minds back to a point in time when we may have heard that. And we don't have to just be in the military again. It could be somebody who unfortunately faced a a crime and there were gunshots, even if they weren't gunshots. Any sense of trauma takes a toll on our body. So fireworks is just a good way to, given where we're at and that in the year, is just a good way to transition and talk about PTSD. That I have it from a lot of things, and a lot of the things are things that I did myself, and so that that can happen. Bringing things a little bit closer, one of our mission trips that we hold from time to time with Voices for Voices, we went to Ukraine a couple of years ago to be with the people, we were able to interview uh, a couple of folks, one in the legislature, Ina Susan, and we really appreciate her time and the work that she does in the Ukrainian parliament. And so we were able to sit down at a coffee shop and talk. And that episode is within our 267 episode catalog library. So you scroll through on your favorite platform and watch or listen to that episode. It's very moving, very powerful. I was very nervous. I was on edge. Um, and that was because at that point in time, uh, Russia had a continuous barrage of uh, firing missiles, many of them, and drone attacks during the evening hours when it's usually resting time. And I can remember one distinct uh, example, and that is actually my last night uh, that I was there in Kiev, and there was a missile that was shot into Ukraine, and it was intercepted, thank goodness. But the sound was like one of the loudest sounds I've ever heard. It sounded like gunfire on a level of 100 times what that sound like. And so that was a point of it woke me up in the middle of the night and not in a dead sleep like that, but I was out, I was sleeping, and it takes a lot to wake me up. That just has anybody in my family. I like my sleep. I love my sleep. I love my rest. And so to wake me up, it takes quite a feat to do that. And and so when I heard that, I was like, oh my gosh, is where I'm staying, was that hit? What is there somewhere nearby? Uh, and come to find out that the missile was intercepted. And so I'm not in the military. I was never in the military. My father, my grandfathers both served in the military. And we thank everybody, past, present, and if you go in the future, thank you for your service to our country, and whatever country you're from. You're not from the United States. We value uh, that as humans. And so at that time, I took that sound and that experience, and when I arrived back here at the United States, and not just the public 4th of July, because I went, I believe it was in June. I believe it was in late May, early June is when I went to Ukraine. So the 4th of July was, right around the corner, and so very fresh in my mind. And so yeah, there were, public displays, public shows, and so we could hear at our house some, and I kind of when I would hear the sounds and the explosions of the fireworks, the sounds that they make, uh, I would jump kind of a little bit. Again, I wasn't in any war. I wasn't in the service, and then we have what I explain here towards the end of our little history lesson on Wikipedia about Independence Day in the United States. There's public purchase of fireworks, and so we know, right, that sometimes the laws are followed, sometimes they're not. And even if they are, individuals, people in the neighborhood or nearby, uh, they set off their fireworks that they bought, they purchased. And what ends up happening, at least is my experience. So we have July 4th this year in 2025 on a Friday. This past Saturday and Sunday started to hear here and there fireworks and sounds. And I know that, once the once it gets dark a little bit later, the evening, tonight and tomorrow and Wednesday and then Thursday and then obviously Friday. And then some public shows also go on Saturday, and Sunday, and some could go on other days as well. So I'd say maybe, a 2-week period where hearing the explosions of fireworks uh, kind of makes me just get a little bit more alert when I hear it. I know I'm in the United States, and thank the good Lord right now we don't have a conflict here on our soil that yeah, other areas of the world that they do have, and I thank God for that. And so here's 2 weeks that I could be put off kilter a little bit, and it's one of these things that it's not like it's hard to talk about because when we share this type of information, if we have a counselor, psychiatrist like I do, I share and talk about things like this. And to somebody that may not have those experiences, doesn't necessarily mean they don't understand per se. it just means that a little more understanding of like, okay, if my family member, my significant other, if sounds, like that bother, um, bother the individual, then we just need to respect that and be okay with it. It doesn't mean we don't want to spend time with family and that, but uh, there's a lot of times where I don't, when it comes to fireworks and that, where I enjoy seeing them. I'm blessed to be able to have my eyesight, and I love seeing the colors and the different patterns, but the sounds make, again, make me just more alert. And it kind of takes me back to that time when I was in Ukraine. Uh, but then also there's other points of trauma in my life that, a lot of them I've talked about here on our show from time to time. And you may have trauma as well. And it doesn't make us any less of a person. Doesn't mean that we have anything wrong with us. All it means is we're affected in different ways than some others. And some of other people, there may be other things that bother them and cause them additional stress and additional anxiety and that aren't related like that. Uh, so I wanted to just talk about PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. We've talked about it a little bit before on different shows, but because we are in the week of Independence Day, the 4th of July, we're with you. We remain with you. Uh, if fireworks and sound transport you back to another point in time, uh, it's okay. It's okay. We can talk to people. We can talk to professionals. And so yeah, I'm gonna plug, the going and visiting a therapist or psychiatrist. Like we're so past the point of having that bother us and to feel like others are judging us. Maybe they are. So what? Therapy helps me get through a lot of life. Maybe you have to take medication, like I do. There's nothing wrong with that. And don't let anybody tell you that there's anything wrong with that because there's not. Because you are standing up for yourself, you're standing up for your health, your mental health, your physical health. And so if somebody goes and gets blood drawn to have different tests run, that person is going to a doctor to have a test done. That's no different than going to a psychiatrist or a therapist and having a visit or many visits like me since 2017 that I've lost count. But it's one of those things that no matter where I am in life, no matter how maybe I'm going through a good spell where things aren't as stressful and aren't affecting me as much. And then there's times when I'm ultra stressed, and so I'm able to reach out to my therapist, my psychiatrist, to be able to talk through what's happening. Yeah, we can have standing appointments where, every 3 weeks or every 4 weeks or every week or every other month, we might have, an in-person or uh, a Zoom meeting. But life doesn't always only just happen on those dates and times. Life happens 24/7. The clock keeps ticking. Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. And there's going to be things that we're going to be able to handle better than others. And all we're doing is asking for a little bit of help. When my car needs an oil change, I go get the oil change. I don't go, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? What's somebody gonna think? And I just go get my oil change. Somebody wants to judge that? Okay, they can do that. Same thing with the mental health. Somebody might judge me, okay. But I need to do what I need to do. And I need to give myself self-care, self-love, because I'm not able to give anything if my cup isn't even a drop or two full. That's not just a cliche, it's the real deal. We can't do things, we can't spend time in groups and with loud music or fireworks, and we can't do that if we don't take care of ourselves. And for that person to goes and gets a blood draw, check for cholesterol or what have you, that person's no different than me or you, where we say, you know what, I'll get checked out and be okay with it, not worry what the result is, not worry about what people say. I've been there, done that. I've gone through those phases, and they're hard, right? You're trying to, in a way, hide the fact that you have a therapy appointment or a psychiatrist appointment, or uh, they're taking medication, and then all those things. Been there, done that. Is it uncomfortable at first? Yeah, a little bit. The first time I was in a club where I, in my earlier years, I would be consuming a lot of alcohol. Um, and so that first time I was in an environment like that with the loud music and the drinks flowing, and I very easily could have fell off the wagon and started drinking and been like, well, I'm just gonna have one. Well, that's not how my mind works. That's not how Justin works. And I had to learn that. It took a lot of time. But once I got through that time, then it made the second time and the third time and the fourth time, etc. Made it much easier. So I was like, what are you drinking? And I'm drinking water. I'm drinking club soda or sparkling water. And be okay with it. Again, nobody's gonna love you like if you don't have that love for yourself. And you may think it's cliche or what. It's the truth. Just like everything else that we talk about, that if we don't believe in what we're doing, if we don't believe in the mission, the vision, If we don't, how how are we going to lead and rally people together to join us together as one human being, family, with voices for voices? And so that's why I'm passionate. One of the big reasons I'm passionate, because I believe in myself. Yes, there's days where I don't, and they're hard, and I don't want to do anything, and I question, are we making a difference? Are we really helping people? And look at some, analytics and just go, oh, Justin, here's where we're at. And so yeah, I have a lot of down days. And it takes a heck of a lot to get out of those. But by having a team, having a therapist, having a psychiatrist, uh, being able to cope as much as I can with strategies I've learned through therapy over the years, I'm able to cope much better, much safer than if I didn't have that team together. And I'll talk about the sport of baseball, right? You have the pitcher, and it was just the pitcher pitching to a batter. It'd be hard to field and catch the ball and run to the different bases to record an out, get 3 outs so you can come to bat. And so a pitcher has a team behind him or her. Catcher, first base, second base, shortstop, third base, left field, center field, right field. Your coaches, pinch hitters, defensive specialists. And so have that team. If you're experiencing PTSD, whether that's related to military service or whether it's not, whether it's a relationship we've had a hard time getting over, and and we just need somebody to talk to. We all, majority of us have these phones that we text, we call, we email, we instant message, we do all these things. We do all this communication, and some of that can be detrimental. So why not have outlets that you can reach out to and I can reach out to? And this isn't me just preaching of, well, you should do this. I'm living it. I'm living what I'm saying. I'm on medication. Do I want to be? No. Do I wish I could go back to that lifestyle partying and that some days? Yeah. But I'm content. Do I wish I didn't have to go to a psychiatrist or therapist? At this point, no, because I know I need them so much. At the beginning, at my bottom, at my lowest, yeah, I was like, I don't need to talk to these people. These people don't know me. They can't help me. I can help myself. I can do a search online on my phone. I can, uh, whatever. I can do all that. And while there's things that we can do to have a little bit of reassurance, it isn't a bad thing. Hey, yeah, you're on the right track. Or maybe you should think about this or that. Again, we're just accumulating information, and at the time we need to, we make the best decision we can at that time. And mental health and uh, PTSD, depression, anxiety, autism, whatever those challenges are, those disabilities are, if you're given the opportunity, take it. Because like me, I was given an opportunity, or no, I was given two choices after multiple emergency room visits in November of 2017. I was given two choices. One was continue on living in fear and panic and not sure if I would still be here once I left the hospital, or do what I didn't want to do. I didn't want to be admitted to a psych ward. I didn't want to be a person that some people call, oh, you're going to the nut house and all these things. At that moment, it didn't matter what all those people thought. It mattered what I thought and what I needed. And I took it upon myself finally to ask for help, that I couldn't do everything myself. And I know I can't do anything myself. The only reason I'm here is because of God and Jesus, and um, that that's 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 what it is. And like that, medically, I don't have that background. I don't. And so when I was given that opportunity after all those visits, all those days, all those months crying and being in fear and feel like I'm blacking out and feel like I'm allergic to eating everything except carrot sticks and plain hummus, and uh, that just that weight, those weights were just taking me to the ground. I couldn't carry them anymore. I couldn't carry them on my own. I wanted to. I tried to, but I couldn't. And so that's when I made a hard decision. I admitted myself voluntarily. And while it was one of the lowest days of my life, it was one of the best days of my life because I started to learn that I needed help and that I didn't care what other people thought. I didn't care what other names or judgments people were make against me, towards me, to my face or behind my back. And so that's a huge reason why I'm here today, because of God and because of these medical folks, that I finally made a decision that I can't fix everything. Nobody can. So don't be a stranger. Don't don't get caught up in social media and labels and all that. All that stuff's gonna be there, and plus it's not going anywhere. But we might be going somewhere not in a good way. So I just ask, if given that opportunity, You don't have to keep putting ourselves on these pedestals and feel like we're unshakable. We can ask for help. Because if I wasn't here, if I'm not here today, then I'm not able to help anybody. And not only help somebody like yourselves or other viewers and listeners, but I'm actually helping myself too, because I'm able to share and talk through things. Some things get repeated over and over again. It's what at the moment I feel I need to talk about and what I need to share about. And I have that avenue. And I also have the therapist and the psychiatrist and the medication and different coping mechanisms. I have that. I'm lucky. And I think I'm lucky. Because all these resources are there for everybody. 988 hotline, call, text, head over to 988lifeline.org. You can chat. If you're in a crisis, you know somebody that is. That's why we end our shows most of the times when I remember of asking you to be a voice for you or somebody in need. There may be somebody in need, and we don't need to share names. We don't need to share all that. But there might just be somebody that could use a lending ear. Say, yeah, I I understand as much as I can. And so that's why I say, here's what I'm doing. Here's how I'm managing my mental health. It might resonate with you, it might not, but I know it's resonated with at least one person. There's probably a whole lot more that I don't know about, and I'm okay with that. I just want to be a light where there is none, or the light is just barely flickering, or the light needs, if the light bulb needs changed out. That's what Voices for Voices is about. It's being a light. It's helping. It's being transparent. It's talking about real issues, real topics that not a lot of people want to talk about. And I'm okay with that. But that's the only way I know how to help. That's the only way I know how to share and alert people, the general public, and depending on what the topic is. And I know there's a lot of people hurting out there. I'm I'm one of those. But just know that you are not alone. There is help. There are people that genuinely care. If you've had a bad experience with a therapist, talk to another one. If you have a bad experience, talk to another one. Find one that clicks with you, that understands you. Don't give up on yourself. We're mighty. We're strong. We're loved. I love you. I love myself. And you can love yourself too. So I want to wish everybody here in the United States uh, a safe, happy 4th of July, Independence Day. And if the sounds of fireworks, explosions bother you, find a way to, um, maybe it's listening to music, maybe it's watching the movie. uh, I don't know, but don't be afraid. Don't feel like you're alone. Don't feel like nobody understands you. Because guess who's been there? This person right here. It's talking. And I had to give up my ego, my pride, before I could ever get to this point to be sharing as much as I do and as much as we do, and to talk about as the topics we talk about. Because I like to think of it, if I don't talk about it and nobody else is talking about it, then there's a lot of people that we're letting down, and I'm letting down. And I want to help. I want to help those 3 billion people over the course of my lifetime and beyond. And the only way to do that is to do it. That takes exposing some nefarious activity, putting people in danger, or just saying, you're not alone. I'm not alone. None of us are alone. Care less about what others think and care more about what you think. So thank you so much for tuning into this episode. We're grateful, we're humbled to have this be episode number 267. Have a great day, have a great evening. We value you. We believe in you. We love you. And we are not alone. Not a one of us. So we'll see you on the next show. Bye for now.